Hey makers, it is glitter month, and look, I wrote all these notes. How crazy is that? Look, I'm going to just go through and share kind of what I have in my glitter collection so you can see all the different types of glitters, but I'm also going to talk about the glitter while I'm doing this because when else am I going to do it through the video? This is a long one because I wanted to make it really thorough, and then I decided to do a couple of projects, and then it just got carried away. Anyway, what is glitter? An assortment of tiny reflective particles that come in a variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. Glitter reflects light at different angles. Most glitters sparkle or shimmer. Some are not sparkly and shimmery, though, as we know, just like the ones that I'm about to hold up. This one here, that is a matte glitter, so it really doesn't have a shine, which you know how I feel about the matte life. This black glitter here is the one that I've always used, like for a long, long time. Solvent resistant, she's pointing to it, fancy, actually one of my faves. So that little snippet of what is glitter is actually straight from Wikipedia. And then I started delving deep into the history of glitter. And can I tell you, it is actually probably one of the most interesting things I've read about. And I was just like we're talking, there was glitter in prehistoric times, where they used to use hematite, which is like a type of mineral, like sparkling mineral. So they used to use hematite in their drawings. And then Egyptians used to use crushed beetles and ground malachite crystal for makeup. So, or for cosmetic use. Amazing. Amazing. And then so when you start delving in, all about the history of glitter, it just gets really interesting. Like plastic glitter or polyester glitter and things like that was started to get developed in the 1930s and 40s. And look, I want to have a serious chat about glitter because there's a weird feeling about it, okay? I started reading about it, and then I started delving deep into different types of glitter. So obviously there are solvent-resistant glitters, there are polyester glitters, there are bio glitters that are actually made from eucalyptus. And, there's this whole thing. Here's my thing. We're putting glitter into plastic, okay? So it's just going to be how you feel about that. It's a really tough one. I really struggled with it, and I didn't really know what to say about it. I have found some phenomenal websites that offer bio glitter. If you want to use a bio glitter, which is a glitter derived from plants, it's obviously much better for the environment. It's more sustainable. However, it is, like anything that is bio or good for the environment, triple the price of normal glitter. And obviously, you don't get as many different types and things like that. So, but then you've got to ask yourself, at what point is there a point of getting bio glitter if you are just literally putting it into resin and PVC plastic like polymer clay? So there's just little things to think about. Oh, this is me showing you glitter on the outside and what it can look like. That's the single hex, that's the silver 1 mil glitter, and it just looks phenomenal. So you could totally do this with earrings. That's just Elsa from Poppy's 3rd birthday cake. It hasn't been finished or sealed, so it can actually just rub off, but that one was actually quite good. The other one that I was going to show you, I think I show you a little bit down the track. This here is very, so basically glitter is made with like machines where it just chops up different sizes and shapes, right? And it's obviously chopped up out of like things like PVC, resin. They actually use metals as well. So there's a lot of problems that we could face when it comes to thinking about glitter and the environment. So majority of these, some of them aren't. So mad micas are pretty much, I think they're sustainable or at least bio. There's something, they're great. I feel like I have to check on that one. I'll put it in the notes, in the show notes, guys, in the show notes. Here we go. So I was trying to find the glitter that I used on Anna. So this is Anna, and look at her little jacket. Now this does come off. I show you on my finger how easily it comes off. So all I've done with that is I've obviously rubbed it onto the surface of raw clay and then cured it. So it's kind of on there, but it would eventually rub off. So it's just showing you the difference between a really fine glitter and then a chunky glitter. And here we go, obviously showing you one of my new, that's from the Pixie collection. This is from Gemini, and just showing you, see that black fine glitter? That's black fine glitter, and then we've got the 1mm hex in there as well. So just showing you what it's like in resin. Now, because I've used glitter in so many of my resin videos, I'm not delving into putting glitter in resin and things like that in this video specifically, because I do it in so many other ones. So this video is predominantly about putting glitter in clay. Oh, hello. That is that burgundy one from Glitter Heaven. Is it Glitter Heaven? Oh, I'll double check. Pretty sure it is. And this is the effect you can get with that fine black glitter. There you go. See, look, she's smart. The thing with that is you do have to be careful on the amount that you put in, because it all goes to the front of the surface. This is showing you how you can have 3 different glitters as well. That's using the matte neon, the fine black glitter, and then a chunky mix in the resin. So I just want to show you some examples. Obviously, with some gloss components, glitter can look phenomenal. I think it looks just as great in these components as well. So yeah, there's that. Now I think we're going to delve into actually putting some glitter in clay. So this is Primo white granite, and it has obviously got particles in it. I don't specifically think they're glitter particles. They could be any type of particle. So that is the kind of effect that you can get from using a glitter. And I'm going to show you, by the way, can we fucking have a moment for the shit packaging? Ugh, don't even get me started. Anyway, I'm going to do an example using Sculpey Soufflé and also Cernit Translucent, using the same glitters. So the glitter that I decided to go for was the... What is she going for? Steel 1mm chunky. And then I'm also going to use Blackbird and Violet's fine navy, which I think is like a 0.8 mil. So it's like super fine. So I didn't even need to condition it, because if you all know what souffle is like at the moment, it's like marshmallow, so it's fun to work with. I've just added a little scoop. Now that's a single size hex glitter. Now I have to say, I genuinely felt like that glitter was not going to work in this process, and I am actually surprised at the end of this. So this glitter here is so delicious, from Blackbird and Violet. It is a navy fine glitter. Now I was going to try and do the example with black so that I can give you like a granite feel, but look, this is as close as it gets. I could have used more bright fun colors, but you know, I kind of had a project in mind, so I just wanted to play with it and see how we went. So I'm rubbing it into the surface so you can actually see what it would look like if you were to use it on the surface. You would need to seal it, and I talk about this all the time. Obviously, you need to seal glitter if it's on the surface. So you would seal it with either a varnish or with resin. You could use UV resin if you like, completely up to you. Not my bag, but you can like use it. And using epoxy resin, you'll get a beautiful shiny shimmery finish, which I'm going to show you. I do finish some components with that, so you'll see what I mean. And there you go. Look at that. Look at that freaking delicious little granite feel. Now, if you were to use glitter that was like had different sizes in it, maybe you don't want it to be too chunky, but you could get kind of similar to the Primo white granite. But this is a really beautiful. And now let me just give you a little tidbit of advice. Use like different tones of glitter as well. I was going to do it in this video and I forgot. So when you're doing that with the fine glitter, what I've just done, not this one here, you can use, like, say for example, you could do black, copper and gold, and you can mix those glitters within that clay, and every time it goes on a different angle, it's going to shimmer a different color. And that's something I used to do a lot using Ecru, so Ecru by Primo, and then I would use a copper, a black and a gold glitter, and I would do like equal parts and mix it through, and just the finish would just be so delicious. Now this is the 1mm hex, and I am actually freaking loving this. It's giving me like, so as you work it more, you will work the glitter in more. See how it's going in more and you don't have as much on the outside. So the more you work it, the more the glitter is going to get embedded. Now, obviously, you're not going to see the glitter under, like in the middle, as you would with a translucent. But how good does that look? It's giving me like tiled Formica vibes, or like, you know, like bathroom, I don't know, some sort of concrete vibe. I don't know. Anyway, let's just have a quick minute and talk about this frickin' Cernit translucent that gives people like literal anxiety because of the texture of it at the moment is actually unreal. Now, this is so hard to work with. I made a couple of mistakes and I'll talk you through those. But look at this. Look at it. It's literally like, it's just saggy. It's saggy. It's soft. It's hard to work with. You can't even condition it. So yeah, it's hard to work with. But can I say it does give the nicest finish? I was not as happy with this result as what I would have been if I used different glitters. So I feel like I used the wrong glitter for the fine glitter because it just was very heavy on the blue, which then gave the translucent quite a grey tone. You'll see it down the track. You'll see what I mean. And I probably just put too much glitter in. Anyway, so I'm rolling it out and then I'm doing exactly the same as what I did with the souffle. I'm just going to add a little bit of each glitter to the surface and then work it through. Now, when you're working with Cernit translucent, you will end up with plaquing, some flat, well, if you don't know what plaquing is like a little flat bubble that will be on the surface of a translucent clay. It happens in most translucent clays and clays that have a formula. Yeah, this is fun. That have a very translucent base. So it's just something that happens that sometimes you just can't help it. And if you do overwork it, which I feel like I kind of do here, I kind of overwork it a bit. I could have left it marbled. It probably would have been way cuter. Anyway, so I'm just mixing it through exactly like we did with the souffle. And then I'm going to cut sample tiles, which is what I do with all of these. But it is really easy to work. It's just, man, if you want to cut a shape out of this stuff. So you're going to see what I do in a minute. So I won't really talk about it right now. But there are ways to do it better than what I did. And one of them would be cooling the clay down, putting it in the fridge, even putting it in the freezer. So like if you're working in humidity, which I know a lot of you are, or if you're working in like just warm climate, you're going to struggle with this clay. It's literally going to be like bubble gum. It's going to give you so much stress trying to get it into a shape. So the only way to really get away with getting a decent shape out of this is to actually roll it out onto the tile that you're going to bake it on, and possibly cool it as well, and then cut out your shapes and skeleton pull and leave it without touching it and then cure it, because that's going to be the only way. Now, also, there are other types of translucent, primo translucent, and look at this shit. What is that? Oh, but you can see the difference in the color. I always find primo translucent comes out with more of a creamy, yellowy look, and it's just not as pretty as the Cernit, which is a lot, it has a bit of transparency and it is just a bit sort of cooler in tone. So, you know, a lot clearer, a lot whiter than the Primo translucent. I also find Primo translucent really difficult to work with. Hey, do you know what's funny? I don't think Fimo has an actual translucent. I was just thinking about it. Like, I know it's got some translucent colors, but I don't think they have a translucent. I need to look that up. So I'm doing sample tiles of each one so that I can share those. And I'm going to keep them as samples for my workshops, which I think will be super handy. And to cut them out, I'm actually using this outline cutter, which is very cute and easy to cut with, thankfully. I also wanted to show you the edge of this. Can you see that? When you use bigger glitter inside, I'm really actually loving that though. The finish of it is bloody cute. It's giving me marble vibes. So when you cut bigger pieces of glitter, they're obviously not going to get cut by the cutter. So you are going to have shards of glitter coming out the outside of your piece that you will actually have to sand off. Again, if we start thinking about microplastics and things like that, yes, it can be difficult. And this is the exact point where I wish I had cut this out on my tile that I'm actually curing on so that I didn't need to handle it. So the thing with Cernit is that you just want to avoid handling it at most points. Because what happens is as soon as you touch it, it starts warming up. And like I said, it's just like bubble gum. So it's not the most ideal. With this particular color, like I was saying, oh yes, outline, cute, very sharp. With this particular color glitter, I find that it makes the Cernit translucent quite grey, which is what I said earlier, and it really does show a lot when we cure it. But these are the sample tiles of 2 different types of glitter and 2 different types of clay. Let's jump straight in now to the first of many unplanned project through this video. So I have all these scraps. Now look, my plan was just to make tiles, show you some examples, blah, 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 blah. Then I decided I need to use up my scraps. I have this idea in mind. Let's just roll with it. Now, future me, or in retrospect, I would have used different colored glitters for this particular project. Now you can also use translucent clay. So this is just obviously all the scraps, but you can totally use translucent clay that has been dyed with like alcohol inks, or using different colored glitters or brighter colored glitters. I feel like the finish of this is a little bit average when you see the end result, because it just, like, the color doesn't really pop. It's very neutral. So I'm just like, I should have used like the neon colored glitters or something like that, just for it to be more fun. But as you can see, I've just rolled out a little slab base. It's just a 4.5mm base. And then I'm using the glitter, the fine glitter in the translucent, and just putting little like blobby snakes all over it in different sizes and shapes. Nothing fancy. Putting a few little bits and bobs on there, and I'm going to roll that down to the normal 3mm using my pink depth guides. And yeah, it's just going to be like a fun little abstract use of some scrap. So I think that used up one of the, oh, she's rolling. Oh, I love it when it's this quick. Yes. And then I'm literally just going to cut out some cute shapes. I did a couple of statement studs. We do some arches because I figured they would look cool for Big and Bold month. And then some cute little sticks, which I don't know what I'm going to use those for. Clean my blade. Pull that up off the tile, and look, here we go. So it looks kind of cute now. Obviously the translucent is going to go more translucent, but here's the downside, and you're going to see it later on. I do find that that fine navy fine glitter makes the whole translucent clay just too gray. So it kind of loses its like real appeal of what I was planning on doing. So I do something else later on in another project for you. So there we go. And now we also have more scraps left over from that slab. So I decide, let's get all the scraps together. Let's have a scrap party, roll out some snakes, and make a really basic cane. But now, of course, you guys know my style and aesthetic, and this is far from it. This is something that I don't do every day, and that I'm doing because A, I have the right kind of clay left over to do this type of technique, and B, I thought it would be kind of cute, and why not give it a go? And also, just like anything else, I like to do things for the first time with you guys so that I can practice and, you know, get better at it and maybe do some sort of trending reel. I don't know. So all I'm doing is rolling all my little scraps up into snakes, and then I'm going to grab some of my beautiful champagne gold foil. Now, if you didn't know this already, you can buy the 5 packs of foil on my website right now, anytime you like. Also using your special codes that you guys get being Patreon members. Now, I make this look easy on the first one, and then it all suddenly starts turning to shit. But can we just have a moment for the fact that the foil matches my nails? By the end of this video, by the way, they do not look the same as what they look like in the beginning of the video. Yeah. But I think I use about 3 sheets of foil in this project, and that's actually not that bad. So I was pretty impressed with that. I did really want to use a blue foil, and then I was like, no, I think I'll use gold just because it's more sort of in line, and I felt like it would actually make the cane pop just a little bit. So you can see there I smartened up and made the snake the same size as the foil. It's a whole thing, guys. She's learning on the fly, and I'm sure there's much easier ways to do it. This is just how I decided to do it. My only issue is that when I was putting the snakes together, I wasn't really looking at what I was putting beside each other. You know, when you use colors, you look at the colors and make sure that they're not too the same. So I was actually putting the white right next to the white, and there was no real, you'll see in a minute what I mean. But look, I'm getting there, and I'm very impressed with how I'm progressing with this. All right? Just so you know. I'm just feeling myself right now. Oh. That's what she said. Okay. I am wrapping in gold. Wrapping, and what are you doing there, Shree? That is making such a mess. Okay. We've got a few more to go, so this is a journey, guys. This is a journey. My hope is that I'm going to be able to pick it all up with this piece that I've got here. Oh, no, that's right. I'm making the base. Okay. Well, that's pretty. I like that. Okay. All right. Cleaning the tile with the clay. It's an expensive cleaning cloth. Okay. Yep. Pretty. That's what happens when you crush gold into your... By the way, that is a technique that I love. That I would consider that kind of like glitter, because working it through the clay and then just having tiny little specks of gold makes my heart so happy. So that is another thing that you can do with your foil as well. Okay. Now I'm going down to the 3mm guides because I know I'm going to be adding something onto the top. So if I went 4.5, it would be too thick. Now, I cut this in half and realized that I've totally fucked it up. And see how... Anyway... So I do pull it apart and just sort of reposition some of them, and it kind of works, and I just sort of squish it, and yeah, it just needed to be, there we go, she's got this, look, oh, there we go, much better, much better. Okay, it did work. But now I feel like we've definitely got those really strong crackle lines, and then you've got the different sort of textures. You've got the thicker glitter, you've got the white, the translucent. It is so soft. I wish that I'd had time to put it in the fridge, and then it would have been a nicer cut, but this still works really great. I'm actually really impressed with how it's turned out. So I'm just laying on some little slices onto that slab that has the little gold bits in it, which is really cute. And then I also plan to do a one without a base as well, so that it's completely see-through on the other side. And I do both versions because, like, we're doing a video, it's glitter month, let's just like go hard on the project. So in this video, like I said, it's a long one. If you get to the end of this video, I'm going to be impressed, okay? I'm going to be like, you get a gold star, you get a gold star, and you get a gold star, because this is a long one. But, you know, every month I do some type of video relating to this is my plan and going ahead plan, doing a video. Now, here we are, we're just squishing it together, and we're going to roll them both down. You know, doing a video for the month's project or the month's theme, I really want to make the most of it. I want to make it awesome. I want to make it worth your while. So I like to pack as much as I can pack into these videos, because if it was me and I was in the Patreon, I'd want to have some quality content like this where I'm getting shown lots of different little techniques. So that's the point. And that's the reason why it's so long. But I would much rather do one big long video than a whole bunch of little videos. So this just works for me. Oh, yes, those fingernails, Cherie. Yes, tap, 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 tap. That is just so cute. I love it when my fingernails are cute. It just doesn't happen very often. You'll see it only happens once a month when I film a video. Now, this works quite good. I'm really happy. It's a little bit lumpy, but a lot of that is to do with the Cernit Translucent just being so soft is ridiculous. Also, funny story, I stuff up the cutting of the components, just... Also in these videos, it is very real. I am obviously sharing, I don't cut out a lot. I actually only cut out when I have big long pauses, or like, you know, I get interrupted by the kids or something like that. That's when I cut out. I don't cut mistakes out. So like if I make a mistake, I generally leave it in because I want you to see that it's so normal to make mistakes and fuck up every now and then. So I stuffed up where I couldn't actually get 2 of those flowers, and I was like, oh, I need to sacrifice something. So I end up sacrificing one of those circles, and then I decide that I'm going to keep the other one as a sample. Anyway. But how cute is this? So I guess this is probably one of those kind of on-trend. Yeah, I've realized. See? Oh, hello. Have to use that. Can't keep that one. So I feel like this is kind of one of those on-trend, kind of like gemstone, rock, whatever looking type thing. And it's cute, not going to lie. I did like it just matte as well, but I decided to gloss up. Now, just before you get too excited, I did not press record and I cannot believe I didn't, because I went through a whole thing of showing you how to do a whole lot of stuff with doming, but I've already done doming in a lot of videos. So if you're new to the Patreon or you're new to YouTube or whatever, and this ends up on my YouTube video in the future, if you're new to the whole deal, just go back and you will find lots of videos of me doming resin, which is the same as doming clay. So I missed that part. So you're going to see it skip from laying it out ready to get resin coated to then already being resin coated. But I do share the end result with you towards the end of the video. So hold up for that. So in this case, we are... Oh, and this is the one that doesn't have the base. I feel like I like that one a little bit. It looks nice. Okay, what are we doing? Yeah, okay, cutting some shapes out. All right, so obviously I could have probably sped this up and just like moved on, but I feel like sometimes it's nice to literally just see every single part of the process, and I guess that's what you're seeing here. But can you see how grey and bluey grey that translucent already is? It goes even darker. So yeah, it is interesting. I've learned something throughout this. Every time I do these videos, I learn something for myself as well, which is a bloody great bonus to having this whole thing. Okay, so just moving ahead a little bit, these are the shapes that we ended up cutting out. They look really gorgeous. And then with the scraps from this project, we start a new project. It's a never-ending cycle, if I'm honest with you. Like, it just keeps going. And then I feel like the scraps from that project, I can make another project. But anyway, we are going to, yes, very cute, very cute. We are going to continue on this whole journey of using these scraps. And we are going to quickly make this other little project here, which is just marbling. So I've put all the clay together, I've marbled it and rolled it down to 3 mils, and look at this. Oh, how cute is that? So I just cut a few shapes out of this, and then I decide, oh, I might add like, oh, this one here also, kind of love this shape. And I kind of see how I did that with the marble, and then I get certain patterns on it. It's very cute. Then I decide, oh, you know what? I'm going to add a little bit of extra foil on the top of these, just enough for a taste. And so I tap on just a few little pieces, and I really feel like these actually become my favorites, if I'm honest with you. Because, so we do the gold. Yeah. Okay. Let's just speed this up a tad so that we can get through it. But the next little thing that I do, which I think is a great use of glitter, is that I grab a little bit of the 1 mil hex, and then I just dab a few little, oh shit, we're getting close here. Okay. I think I'm going to do it one by one, and then I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Let's just use the finger, because otherwise we'll be here forever. And boom. Then we start putting little patches on. I love this. Now, I go into this knowing that I'm going to resin coat it, so it's going to look really cute. The glitter is going to stand out. I'm putting little patches on, so it's kind of got this galaxy planet effect. Great use of glitter. So you could do that with any type of glitter, put it on the surface, but just knowing that you're going to actually resin coat it will make a big difference, because if you use a varnish on that, it's not going to end up with the same beautiful glossy finish unless you use a gloss varnish. And then if you use a gloss varnish, it kind of can end up looking quite cheap. So you have to be really careful to find the balance between whether you decide to resin coat or whether you decide to varnish. If you varnish, I tend to use like either a semi-gloss, which is the Sculpey semi-gloss or Fimo semi-gloss, or I use a matte. But you've got to remember that obviously with a matte varnish, you're not going to have that beautiful glittery shine. So in this case, obviously I'm using epoxy resin, and I decided to do it with epoxy cast. So Barnes epoxy cast is the resin that I use for this project. And I do show you that further down the track. However, we are going to cure these little puppies now. They're going to go in the oven at 135 for 40 minutes. They do come out rather toasty, not going to lie to you. Oh, look at that. Like magic, the click of a finger, they are cured. Oh, I don't know why I put that transition in there. What's the point? So you can see what I mean by these translucents just going so dark. That's the two there. Cernit on the left and souffle on the right. No, souffle on the right and cernit on the left. Oh no, which one's the right and which one's the left? Souffle on the left and cernit on the right. I've got this. I know what I'm doing. I need to re-record that. Oh no, just keep it in. Who cares? Look at these. They look delicious. I actually fall in love with those. I mean, these ones are okay, but again, I just feel like the navy blue fine glitter really just took over and made it too dark. I think it had potential if I'd used a lighter glitter, but all in all, they look great. And look, we're even sanding. So I sand every single piece just using my little buffing tip and a Dremel stylo. And you can see me getting dustier and dustier as I go along. It didn't take me long. Then I lay them out, and then suddenly, there they are. Now, I'm just going to show you really quickly how I use acetone to clean up the backs of the components. I feel like I've done this a million times, and if you've already seen it, I mean, of course, just fast forward through. I'm just going to show you really quickly. I use it to clean up the front sometimes as well, but for the backs, I just use a cotton pad and some acetone. I usually wear gloves, not always, but most times I wear gloves, and it just cleans out the back. It can smooth the surface if it's slightly lumpy, take away any surface hairs or dust or extra glitter that you don't want in there either. And it's just going to take away any gloss from sitting on the tile. So I'll show you the difference between one that's been finished with the acetone and one that hasn't, so that you can see what the difference is. So the front, you can see there's obviously bits and bobs on the front, and then the back, look at that. Look at the difference. Wow, so good. So I'm just going to go through and prep all the components ready to dome, which is cleaning the backs, the fronts. I've sanded them all so they're all ready. Then I'm going to lay them out and dome them. You're going to see pretty much this skipping forward to seeing them already finished because I forgot to press record. But this is something that I do with every single collection that I dome with resin. So there we go. Oh, so sparkly, so delicious. They're going to go sit up on my shelf now for 12 hours, and then I'm going to share what they look like again at the end of the video. So now we're on to the next project. The next project includes Lava Lamp Glitter by Glitter Heaven, and this piece of bubble gum that we like to call Cernit. Cernit translucent. Now look, after the whole navy episode, after I cured it and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is not exciting, this is so grey, I decided I needed to do something bright and poppy that was more in my style, more in my aesthetic. So I decided to mix this little cutie in. Now it's got holographic stars, it's got little diamonds, peachy, pinky, beautiful colors. I just mixed that in to the Cernit translucent, And then I'm going to use it in a rip and tear kind of technique to get it onto a slab. So this is actually something I did a long time ago. I've used it in a couple of collections in a similar way. It's a technique that I've used a lot. So we're just going to make a slab base using the souffle. I'm just doing white. I don't add anything to it. And we're rolling that out to the 4.5 mil because I obviously want to roll it down. And then, of course, because we're doing a glitter video, there's glitter everywhere. So I'm just making it really nice and thin and then trying to choose the pieces that have got a little bit of glitter in. And I'm just going to go through, rip and tear onto the slab. And then I'm also going to grab a little bit of Fimo Neon Orange, which is bloody delicious. And when you're using it in small pieces like this, it doesn't take long. If you hold the Fimo in your hands for like 5 minutes just to warm it up, it does get soft really fast. So I'm also going to add that Fimo. Now, what I do is I add a little bit of Primo Fluoro Pink to that to make it sort of more of a pinky tone. You're going to see me do it in a second. What I did find is that when it cured, that pink actually went a lot darker and did have the tendency to look, you'll see it in the end results, but it was actually really noticeable. So I probably should have used, instead of the neon pink, because of the way that that can be a bit dicey and how it cures, I possibly should have done like fuchsia or something like that just to make it a bit pinker. But anyway, it was a bit of an experiment. It looks kind of cute. Evenly distributing the fluoro over top of the, now I'm also layering it over top of some of that clear as well, transparent. Rolling it down. Oh, look how bright it is. Yes. And then we're going to cut some cute components out of that. Now, what I love about this is because I've layered the orange over top as well. So it just is going to give a really nice layered effect when it's cured. Oh, this is dicey. Dicey. Okay, she's got this. Love those outline cutters. Some of my favorites, but they can be difficult to cut with sometimes. I didn't really have a plan on what I was going to make here. These are obviously micro slabs, so just really small amounts. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I could have added more color, but we're already like, 4 projects deep already into this video, so I didn't want to go too crazy. I wanted to keep it simple. And this is as simple as I get. Okay, so we're now going to get these off the slab. Be very gentle with them because they are quite soft. Put them on and cure them. So they're going to go on. I don't show a close-up. Why aren't I showing a close-up? Anyway, the cool thing is that lava lamp glitter is going to show really nicely underneath. I don't know what I do with this. I feel like I don't do anything with it. Oh, I make a little bit of a marble situation. Okay, so here we go with project number like 4,000. I decided just to do a couple of components that are marbled as well. So that's what's happening here. This is why she's decided, oh, we'll just add a little bit of this. We'll do that. Like, when I get into these videos, guys, I go in like, it's like I have to do a marathon video. We're here at 38 minutes recording, knowing there's still another 30 minutes to go. And I'm like, oh, how much more can I talk? But, you know, look, we'll get there. I love this also, by the way, for this marble technique. So it is literally just 2 snakes of clay, twisty twirly, twisty twirly. That is how I do my marble. There are a lot of different ways to do marble, but that's always been my favorite. It's been my go-to technique, and I think it works really well. That is so vibrant. And then I just cut out a couple of components because I feel like I just want a couple of choices. I don't actually end up doing anything with those, but I do think they are going to end up being studs. So again, when I'm cutting out that way, I just like to use my blade to get it up off the tile. What are we doing now? Oh, okay, I'm cutting a sample. I'm like, oh, what are we doing? So there they are. They're all ready to go in the oven. And suddenly they're out of the oven. Also including Emmy's cute little mermaid down in the corner. Can you see that? So this is how they've turned out. They are absolutely gorgeous. So you can see the holographic in there. Look at that. And you can see the little pops of orange coming out from the translucent. Now, the sample up in the top corner there does have quite a lot of the orange, like tiny, tiny orange mica that is included in the lava lamp glitter, but it does look gorgeous still. I think because the pieces I've used on the actual components, so the little ripped and teared pieces, they actually have a lot less of the sort of orangey glitter in it. Plus they're also on a white base, so that's why they look a little bit clearer. So obviously we're just going through and sanding every single component with our little mermaid there in the corner watching. Cute. And then we're just sort of playing around with the different components. And I've decided to show you another technique that I have recently discovered and really like and will probably be using in future when I do clay collections. And that is using translucent liquid clay to embed my posts. And adding in a little bit of pizzazz that you maybe didn't think of. So I'm just going to attach my posts using Zap Jewelry Gel, which is my favorite. I'm using 6mm stainless steel posts. They're just the posts that I like to use. And because I'm going to embed them using liquid clay, I don't need to use big giant posts. So I'm kind of just going to go through and glue the ones that I want to glue, and the ones that I think I'm going to use as either studs or as components for dangles. So you just need to do that. I like to glue it on because I feel like it's just an added security, and plus it's a little bit fiddly getting the liquid clay on, so you really do need to be able to hold that post in, it's actually really helpful to be able to hold the post. If you were having to try and attach the post, well, you probably could, but this is just easier. So because of course they have to go back in the oven, so I've decided to use those ones, do ball tops with those ones, and then these ones are going to be studs, so that is going to work. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to use. Now look, obviously you can use Bacon Bond, or I think they've changed the name again to like oven baked clay adhesive now. It's the name of Bacon Bond has been changed so many times. There is some vast differences. Liquid clay is a little bit thicker than Bacon Bond. Bacon Bond is thinner, so it is a little bit harder to use the translucent liquid clay. However, it comes out with a beautiful translucent, and it is much more clear than Bacon Bond. So I just really like it. So I'm putting it into a little cup here, and the magic ingredient is, wait for it, some neon glitter. So I'm doing a little sprinkle of the matte neon glitter. And because the other one has, now I could have used the lava lamp, but I wanted to do something different to show you what you can do. So I'm going to use the Mad Micas holographic as well. Now, just a tip, I wouldn't use anything too chunky, or I wouldn't add too much. Less is more when it comes to this. So then we're just going to mix it in, and I'm going to use that little mini popsicle stick to apply it. Just like so. So you can see I'm holding on to the post, and then I'm just moving it around. This is very time consuming process. So I'm probably going to speed this up. Now, the great thing with Bacon Bond is because it is a little bit, so I'm going to refer to the oven baked clay adhesive as Bacon Bond because that's what we're most familiar with. But that's the other option. So this is liquid clay, what I'm using. And this is translucent liquid clay, not clear liquid clay. So with the Bacon Bond, because the consistency of it is a bit looser, it settles a little bit nicer. So the one thing that I'm kind of trying to perfect with this technique is smoothing it and making it a little bit smoother, because it kind of stays how it is. So the backs feel slightly a little bit lumpy, but honestly, you can't really tell because the glitter kind of takes away from that. So yeah, so just getting it slightly smoother would be goals for me. I'm going to try it with Bacon Bond, but I really just like the finish with the liquid clay. So all in all, I like it, but it is time consuming. So let's speed this up. So although it's fiddly and time consuming, it is a really strong finish, especially because you've got the glue as a backup as well. So all we're going to do with these is put them in the oven at 135 for about 30 minutes. This is what they look like before they go in, and this is what they look like when they come out. Really, really bloody fun. So that's the front, and then that's the back. So you could go without using the orange as well. You could just use the holographic just to give it a tiny hint of like some sort of pizzazz in there. You could use any type of glitter. I do think that a fine glitter looks nice because it's more of a sparkle. But this is the kind of project that I wanted to do in the beginning. And this is why we're coming towards the end of the video now, and I'm showing you this. So what we're going to do is put our components together. You're going to get to see me drill a hole completely crooked, but we still go with it, you know. Just using my Dremel Micro. It's a cordless Dremel, and you can't buy them anymore, but you can get similar type sizes like the stylo. Yep, that's so crooked. Look at it. Oh, bloody triggered, mate. Triggered. All right. I got silver jump rings because cute. They go with the holographic, and also they look nice with the light sort of tones. But then I get a bit stumped because I want to use a ball top, and I don't have any silver ball tops, which is making me think I need to put them on my list of things to get. So I use black with a silver jump ring. I'm not 100% happy with it. These, I'm like, oh, it's crooked. Oh, you know, falling apart. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of happy with how they look. I would have liked to have had a silver ball top to go with those, or a silver hook. But because silver isn't something I use very often, but I think I should get on board with it. However, I'm putting on my list all-in-one silver hooks, and I'm also going to get some silver ball tops just to give myself options if I'm doing projects like this, because I feel like the black just looks a little bit standouty. It looks weird. It's not quite right. So I will definitely change that in future to silver, I think, or I would have to change the jump rings to, oh yeah, by the way, a piece of glitter was sticking up off this, so I kind of had, it just got me. It was like that scab that you really just have to pick, and I just couldn't stop myself. But it actually is smooth in the end. Anyway, I mean, come on. I don't know what I'm talking. Oh, then my nail breaks. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. My nails just get so rank by the end of this video. Using acetone, drilling, sanding, Renaissance waxing. I actually love to finish my clay with Renaissance wax, so I like to buff it on, just using a cotton pad, and then I like to buff it off. Now, if you want it to get to a high shine, you can absolutely achieve that. If you use something like denim or carpet, or like a buffing wheel for your Dremel, you can really get that up to a beautiful sheen. I like it just sort of like at that sort of matte. I don't know why I was shining it towards the light like that. It was weird. Anyway, how gorgeous does it look? I'm so happy with these. Just happy because I wanted to show you those techniques more so. So I wanted to show you how you can do, I used to call it like a floating water effect. It almost looks like water on the top of your clay when you put when you put translucent clay in there. And like I said, you can totally use alcohol ink colored translucent, or you can use other colored glitters. You can use glitters that have more shapes and sizes in it, but that's really effective. The one that I've used there is has that little speckle of orange and also has the holographic shape. So yeah, it's super fun. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think I'm arranging it for a photo, or I don't know, trying to make it look fancy. I really hope that after all of this, and if you've got to the end of the video, you have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something. If you have any questions, remember, you can ask me, DM me anytime. Pop a comment below. Let me know if you like the video. That's something that's really important to me. It's important that I get feedback and that I know that you liked it. So a few love hearts or something just to say, hey Cherie, I've seen your video and I thought it was great. That's really helpful for me. It keeps my morale up when it comes to this stuff. Oh, also this last little bit is just me with the resin. Any of the little bits of overspill, I always remove with a pair of pliers. You can do this afterwards and it'll come off super easy. But how gorgeous do they look? This is a little bit better. I'm just obsessed with that. I'm really excited about how that turned out. They're still curing. Oh, and then I dropped them off. Yeah, not ideal. But like I was saying, this video was so much fun to make. It was kind of my vision for the glitter video, was to show you how to use it in polymer clay, how you can use it on the top. Another thing you can do as well, which I didn't say before, is you can add a little bit of glitter, which I was going to do, but I didn't have time. You can add a little bit of glitter into the doming resin as well, like just a little speckle, and it will give a sparkle on the top of your domed components, which kind of looks amazing. I've done that before. If you haven't seen it already, I think it's in one of the lives over on our Instagram. But like, Glitter Month was amazing. Thank you so much. Make sure that you use your Glitter Heaven code before it runs out at the end of October. And I love you so much. Thank you so much for supporting our Patreon, The Maker's Narrative. You guys are amazing. Look at that. There's my sample one, the one that I fucked up, remember? Anyway, this was lots of fun. I've had a blast. I better go and parent my child now because she's been watching the iPad for this entire hour. But here is a little close-up. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Not, not as much with those ones, but I mean, whatever, it's fine. I want to see what you make for Glitter Month. Make sure you tag me. But I'm also excited for what we're expecting next month. Ooh, yeah. It's going to be good. Okay, awkward silence. Okay, tapping out. Okay, bye.